Is it hard when you step back? And I know this is part of journalism, but I've always been interested in it. Mikey seems like a great guy. He can code switch, like you were saying. At the same time, the drugs he put out on the street are ruining lives. They are, right? Like, there's a lot of arguments about drugs and everything like that, but you talk about the addiction and lives getting destroyed, and he was making money off that. Yeah. Is that something you just got to leave that, at the door when you start that conversation, or is it something you talk to him about?
No, I mean, it's definitely something we talk about. And I think one thing that made Mikey different than some of the other interviewees, because I talked to a lot of guys, a ton of guys who dealt, but Mikey was ultimately basically the only one that was paying any consequences for it. And so I think, I didn't have to be the moralizing force. He's in prison and he's, really suffering in there. And so I didn't kind of have to come in and go, do you ever think of, we did obviously talk about, do you think about what you did and do you have regrets? But ultimately, the very experience of sitting in a 120-year-old converted horse stable without air conditioning and a horsefly infestation, that did a lot of the sort of moralizing work for me. And I didn't want to write it in sort of a moralizing way either. It's really important to me that a reader meets the book halfway and kind of figures out what they think or feel.